Hey you, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're doing well and you're taking care of yourself. And today I wanted us to talk money. But before we do, I'm really sorry about the background noise. It's because of where I live. There's really nothing much I can do about it. Unless I move, of course, which is hopefully soon. Please pray for me, guys. Please pray for me. So unless I move, there's really nothing I can do about it. So until then, please bear with me. Okay, cool. So since the beginning of this year, I've been living by myself for the first time. Yeah. Well, I've lived by myself before when I was in campus, but that was different. Why? Because bills. It was like, Mom, I need rent. Mom, I don't have food. Mom, I need this. But now I have to figure that out by myself. Yeah, there's bills to pay. I actually have to eat to survive. I need some savings for the rainy days, and having moved out of home with nothing but my clothes, naturally there's still so many things I'd like to get for my house, right? So what do I do? Living by yourself and having your own place is cool, and it's amazing and all that cool stuff until the bills come. Yeah. And you're seated there wondering, how do I survive on this 300 bob for the next 2 weeks? Then it's the ghetto. Yeah, and since moving out, I've made so many money mistakes. And that's why I'm here to give you a couple of tips so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Okay, I know most people hate budgeting because as it sounds, it's very restricting and it means that you won't be able to have any fun, right? But I'm here to tell you that it's the complete opposite. Budgeting means that you get to have fun and not feel guilty afterwards. Budgeting means that you get to have fun and not suffer panic attacks the following day. Yeah? Which leads me to my first tip. Yeah? And that's shorted for tips now. Okay? Yes. So my tip number 1 is don't lie to yourself that you won't have any fun. Okay? Because whether you intend to or not, you will. Trust me, you will. Yeah? Whatever fun means to you. Fun could be going out alone, it could be going out with your friends, it could be eating out a couple of times, it could be traveling. I don't know, whatever fun means to you. Plus, it's necessary because all work and no play makes Jack. And I'm sure nobody wants to be Jack. Plus, sticking to a financial plan is easier when you're not miserable about it. Right? Right. So my tip number 2 leads us to the serious stuff, which is the actual budgeting. So to budget, you have to determine your monthly income, your monthly expenses, and how much you have left to spend. Okay? And if you have more than one sources of income, please include them all. Okay? And if you have an irregular income like I do, you can base your budget on your lowest earning income in the last 6 months. Okay, and to do this, I use 1, spreadsheets, and 2, there's this app called Moneyfy, which I'll talk about in a minute. For the spreadsheets, I have a spreadsheet for my income and I have a spreadsheet for my expenses, which I update every single day. That is my advice. If you choose to use them, please make sure you update them every single day. I also use this app called Moneyfy, the one I mentioned. I like this app because it helps me track everything in one app. It has a section for income, it has a section for expenses, and has a section for savings. And then in the expenses section, it has all these categories. It has house, it has communication, health, clothes, it has car, transport, even enjoyment. So every time you spend money on something, you just update it there and it does the calculations for you. Because it has, in the home page, it shows you how much you've made that month, how much you've spent that month, and the balance you have. So at every single moment, you know how much you have. So you don't overspend thinking you have money just to find out you don't. Okay? So it's a really nice app. I think you can try it. I'll leave the name here. You can try it and let me know how you like it. If you already use it, let me know if you find it helpful as well. So So my third tip is, when you're budgeting, leave some wiggle room for the groceries. Because with the fluctuating prices, you just never know. So make sure you overestimate when it comes to the groceries, so that no matter what happens, you'll still be able to stick to your budget. Our tip number 4 is the hardest part, which is cutting costs. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, and I know it's very easy to tell yourself, I don't think there's anything I can cut costs on, but trust me, there always is. I always told myself that until I got serious about it. I was like, I need to figure out what I can do, yeah? And I realized it's the very small things, the things we take for granted. For example, I have my budget. I know what I'm supposed to get. I know what I need. And then say I go to the supermarket, I have my list, I get everything I needed to get, and then I'm like, this is just 100 bob. This isn't much. So I get it because I want it. I just want it, yeah? And then say I do the same the following day, and the following day, and the following day. Those little amounts end up accumulating to something so big that you're looking back, because they're not on your budget, they're not on your lists, you can't even figure out where your money went, right? So your budget doesn't even make sense anymore. You don't understand what's going on. It's confusing. Yeah? And that brings us back to my first point. If you know there's just these two little things that you can't help yourself on, just include them in your budget. And then figure out how to cut costs on them. That way, you'll be able to stick to your budget and still enjoy yourself. My tip number 5 is, after cutting costs, don't just direct that money to another necessary expense. Instead, direct it to your savings. Have it as money for your rainy days, because you just never know what happens, right? But like for me, for example, my income is very irregular. I might make a lot this month, and then the next month, not so much. So one mistake I used to make, in the month I make a lot of money, I spend a lot of money. And then the following month when I don't make a lot of money, I start panicking. Okay? So here's what I decided. Say I make a certain amount of money. I have my budget already. I know, say my budget is 20,000, for example. So on top of that 20,000, I have to make 15,000 on top, which I direct to my savings. And then on top of that 15,000, what I make is what I'll use to get something extra. Say maybe in my budget I decided to get like a table for myself or a seat or whatever. So whatever I make on top of my savings is what I'll use to get that something. If I don't get that amount, I'll just push that thing to the next month, just to make sure that in case something happens and the next month I don't make enough, I'll still be okay. If you're on a salary, you can decide, say you get 30 Gs per month and your budget is maybe 20 Gs, okay? You can decide for the next 3 months, I'll direct that 10 Gs to my savings. And then after that 3 months, now I'll start getting the extra things I want. So that in case anything happens, I still have a little cash somewhere. I still have 30K somewhere to push me through until I figure things out. Okay? My tip number 6 is, please try and create a budget each and every single month. Because you might be tempted to create one budget and use it forever. And that will definitely mess you up. Because first of all, what you spend a certain month, say December, won't necessarily be what you'll spend in January. December has a lot going on, right? So you'll definitely, most probably, spend more in December than you will in January. Okay? That is the first reason. And then reason number 2, the prices. The prices are fluctuating each and every single day. What you spend 1 month, 3 months down the line, It's just totally different, okay? Plus, once you create that budget, make sure you come back to it once every week. I do that every Sunday, just to make sure I'm sticking to it. And if I'm not sticking to it, what can I do in the coming week to get back on track? My tip number 7 is, remember that just like everything else, it's a habit that you have to build. It's something that you have to keep working on. And for the first couple of months, you may not even be able to stick to it. And that's because you're still learning. But don't use that as an excuse to completely disregard it. Use it as an opportunity to learn and get better the following months. Because you'll never be perfect. Even I am not perfect. I don't think there's a month I haven't messed up. But I find that every month I get better than the previous. And that's what matters. Okay? So you also try it. It might be hard at first, it might be confusing, but it will be worth it. And it will save you a lot of anxiety in the end. Okay? So that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you liked any of these tips, let me know down below. If you didn't, also let me know and let me know why. If you have a couple of extra tips, please share them with us. We'll really appreciate it, okay? Other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye.